Any, Tim, to win this conference.
I think they do, and I said it at the time because I watched two of their games. I watched them take Loyola, who at the time was a top 10 team, to overtime. I saw their game against UVA, who's a top, you could say, one of the top 3 teams in the country, and they stood with them toe-to-toe for 3 quarters. And then, as you said, Denver, losing by 2 goals to a top 15 Denver program, top 10. And this is a really, really good program.
And an excellent matchup at the Faceoff X, which featured Monmouth's Matt Soutar and Towson's Matt Constantinides. Constantinides wins the initial faceoff, but Monmouth's defense comes up with a stop. That'll be a great matchup. There's great individual matchups to keep an eye on the field all afternoon long.
Absolutely great storyline. We always talk about possession.
I mentioned he's from San Diego, but he started his college career at Maryland.
Yep.
Now he's at Towson. He's just a regular Maryland guy now.
Now he's a Maryland guy. Now he probably has a Maryland. Eddie gets right back to it. Failed clear. Gives them another opportunity. Kudos to Towson. They took advantage of it, giving them a 2-0 lead. That's why those little things are so critical. Possessions are so critical.
And the faceoff looked to initially be won by Constantinides, and indeed, it will be another win for the sophomore from New Fairfield, Connecticut.
And as we had talked about early on, just a great matchup between these two. Soutar, again, had a great game last week. Can't say enough about his play. An opportunity for them. What Monmouth is going to need to do there, they've got to recognize if they've got to go early and they've got a matchup that is not favorable, they need to get help, and help quick.
The matchup at the faceoff dot is a great one between Constantinides and Soutar, who's 3rd in the league in that number and has had some huge games. And the way this game has gone already, Tim, he's going to need a massive game this afternoon to keep
on his defender. And again, shoots high. All 4 goals have been up high for the Tigers.
Now 9 goals on the year for Weber, surpassing his total from last season. Final second's going to come off the clock. And after the first set of 15 minutes, the Tigers have won 2 straight in league play. We bring you back to West Long Branch. The battle at the face-off dot will be one we keep an eye on, Tim, all afternoon long. In that first quarter, Monmouth's Matt Soutar winning 3 of the 5, but it's his team that trails 4-0.
And he's going to have to continue to battle and get offensive possessions. Both of these face-off men also do a wonderful job of getting their own ground ball, so they don't always rely on their wing play. So it's a very interesting dynamic that you have here, and it really is. We talked about it early on. It's going to be a key to the game, now even more so for the Hawks if they expect to get back into this. That was just a dominant first quarter by Towson in all phases. Their defense was swarming. They did a great job. They had 3 calls turnovers on the ride. You know, they were finishing their shots. You know, they got 6 shots on goal, 4 went in. So that was a dominant performance thus far.
Well, Soutar won the faceoff and then ran right into trouble. Here comes Colby Bars, the junior defender from Matthews, North Carolina.
You don't mind Soutar doing that because he does score goals, and he was probably just trying to ignite the team. So, you know, again, but
5-0 Towson lead. Tigers are locked in here in the early going. Monmouth wins another faceoff. This is Brandon Rispoli, the freshman, to come away with the win. And now this is where Monmouth has, Tim, struggled. It's been in that middle area, and again they do, as Rispoli will keep it only because of the penalty.
You're right. It was you got lucky there. You know, I always say that if you're in the field, that was much needed. He recognized the matchup. He had the short stick. So he said, okay, well, we've been attacking from wings all day. He did the same thing there and got a step and did that nice little, and it's, as a former goalie, yes, you watch the ball, but you're also cognizant of body language. And with that little head dip, you know, there's a piece of you that thinks he's going low, and he stuck it up high. So that was a great finish.
Monmouth trying to turn up the intensity on the clear attempt, and now you saw too Caffarelli getting involved on their ride, but It'll be Towson again, 5-1 lead, and to this point in control.
And that's what you want out of your. It is, and that is an example right there of why you don't want to let Dodgers get to the middle of the field, because then they can do what they want. You know, and I mean, that one was a jump shot, you know, high to low to the far pipe. I mean, that's exactly how it's taught, and that's exactly how it's executed. Get it out of your stick.
First goal for McRae since Monmouth's game way back on April the 1st against Hofstra. Had gone 3 straight without a goal. Monmouth would love to get some production out of
passes cleanly like that on a transition or on offense. Somebody should be open.
And it all started with a long pass outlet from Ryan Morris to Cade Stratton in front of each team's bench. Stratton came to meet the ball, Tim, and then turned on a dime and created his own transition.
Absolutely. That's great to see. Heads up. That's great. That's lacrosse IQ right there.
Towson, and Tim, in order to do that, and you mentioned turnovers when in our first segment at halftime being kind of the Achilles heel for Monmouth. But in order to do that, it really starts here at the face-off dot, and then also got to get, for a team that prides itself on defense, you have to get stops.
You do, and that's what you do. So I think really the message is coming out of halftime, like we did in the second quarter, guys, let's eliminate the turnovers, eliminate the unforced errors. Let's keep battling like we're doing here at the face-off dot. Let's take advantage of our opportunities on offense. Let's be a little bit more aggressive on defense. Maybe that's a quicker planes of your shots. I know it's not as thrilling as a shot to the upper corner, but it's just as effective.
And that stops Monmouth's 2-goal run that extended from the end of the first half. 7-3 Tigers, looking for their 4th CAA win of the season. Trying to keep pace with other teams in the league. We'll give you the out-of-town scoreboard because we're the last game of the day, with all the other games finishing earlier.
And that was one of those little things, Eddie, we had talked.
Would have come in. And that's what veterans bring, right? They kind of have that sixth sense of knowing when that slide's coming.
Exactly. Absolutely. And they know, Soutar wins the draw, wins the ground ball, but gets the ball taken away. Opportunity here. Excellent save by Coleman.
They've done a really good job of not allowing Monmouth to string back-to-back goals together.
They absolutely have. They've just been able to answer. And that's just keep your composure. Know that you're in for a battle, full 60 minutes.
Tigers run in the attack unit they want. Full score here at Monmouth. Cade Stratton with a highlight reel score.
So as you mentioned, Eddie, let's see, can they put together a 2 or they've had 1 2-goal run. Can they do a 3-goal run here? As nice as what happened there, Monmouth was in a 10-man ride, so you pull the goalie out, play, by saying, okay, I've got an opportunity here to affect the play. I'm just going to hold my ground, giving my offensive line mate an opportunity to get back in kind of my neck of the woods where I grew up. Played for an excellent high school program and stayed relatively close to home.
We were talking before the game, and you were an All-American keeper at Loyola, and you were explaining to me the geography that, right, it's that Baltimore Triangle, Loyola, Berkeley, 3 first-half goals. That his first goal here in the second. You know, Monmouth had a lot of momentum towards the end of that second quarter. And credit Towson, they have come out here in the third and been focused, not only taken that momentum away, they've gained it
on track. You know, that shortened season, you know, being part of a championship run, you know, a lot here, making the transition to a different conference. So there was a lot they had their hand in. Opportunity here.
And Ty Caffarelli, after a series of fakes, able to score in the first goal of the afternoon for Monmouth's leading scorer.
It's opportunistic right there, but he does a nice job. Very patient, working his way, tiptoeing around the crease and finally finding a small opening there. but you can see 7th in the CAA goals per game, over 2. That's, again, for a freshman, that's great.
See that wild sequence, it was kind of the end result of it. Caffarelli, right place at the right time, and Monmouth scores 12 seconds into the 4th quarter. Ground ball scooped up by Reese Potter as Towson controls. We ran through those final scores in the league. And this is the final game of the afternoon in CAA play with the flag up and a penalty coming for Towson.
So you like the ride, and because this is it. This is the last quarter. So all things, all learning opportunities here for sure, especially with such a young team.
And we talked about it in the first half, but one of the biggest differences you see in a lot of the players that Towson has,
a great feed as well, just to have that vision to get it cross field.
So we just saw Berkeley's 5th goal, and that's Wisehar's 3rd goal, and there's Tim and I.
All right.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, great. You can see I got my glasses on so I can see what I'm talking about.
We told you Kessler Stadium's a beautiful facility, and our vantage point up here, as much as we loved that low angle, this is pretty cool.
Oh, this is a great
2nd goal of the afternoon for Caffarelli, and on the violation, Monmouth will get another possession, trying to get its 3rd goal in a row.
Drew the point defenseman. That's how you draw it up. And that's how you draw it up. And that was just an unbelievable finish in the upper corner.
And every time Monmouth has put together a couple of goals, it did it once in the first half and did it now. Towson, and you know what? They've made the answer with goals, but really the answers have come on the defensive side.
Absolutely, because that goal started on the defensive side.
Yep.
You had a double team, 2 block shots. Looks like we may have had an offsides here, so it's another turnover. That was a good defense here. You got, again, you catch it. You want to make sure that you bury that just underneath the goalie's stick, but above his leg, so he can't kick it for a kick save, but it's not in his stick. That's just great. Great finish right there. It's the little things, Eddie.
Well, now, if you remember, too, Monmouth had a big advantage in faceoffs earlier on, and it's still been a pretty efficient day for Matt Soutar, but hard to find fault with really anything that Towson's done on attack, on defense. I know just 2:26 remaining, but with a young team that is building and a lot of players that will come back next season, you look for all of those. Towson's 3rd straight CAA win. And I feel like this is indicative of what Monmouth has done in year 1 in the CAA. You've seen the glimpses for a young team that will be a contender in this conference sooner rather than later. But when you go up against a more veteran team and a team like Towson with such pedigree, as Monmouth gets another late goal, it's hard to overcome that, as that goal comes from another senior in Cole Campbell.
You know what's great? Again, these seniors, they have done so much. And you know what I love? The reaction of both the bench and the fans. You might not be a regular starter, but what you have to do as a college athlete and the sacrifices you make, it's almost immeasurable, and they really don't have the typical college experience. So for them to get their opportunity here, senior day, the last home game of the season, it's just great to see.
On the first goal in the career of Cole Campbell is a nice way to end senior day for Monmouth, but a victorious trip to New Jersey for Towson.